Hernandez. I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of Sport Fishing. Well, today is Eric Grinnan. Hey, Eric,
how are you doing, Dan? Nice to see you.
What we're going to do today is we're going to go local fishing out of Long Beach, California for Sculpin. Sculpin's been one of the big target fish in the sport industry this past couple of years. It's a great fish to eat. It's a little dangerous to handle, a little poisonous, but it won't really hurt you. But it's a great fish to catch and eat. So what we're going to do is show you how to take your small boat out, like the Skeeter that I have, and we're going to go local fishing, showing you how to catch Sculpin. So stay tuned for this week's exciting episode of Sport Fishing. Welcome to Sport Fishing with Dan Hernandez. Sport Fishing is brought to you by Shakespeare, manufacturers of the Ugly Stick, Cajun Red Fishing Line, Fluger, quality rods and reels, Cabela's, America's Game Saver for preserving all fish, and Blue Cross of California Foundation. Okay, right now we're getting ready to head out to go fishing, so they have live squid today. We're back with Nacho, this Alley Harbor Bait Company, and you can reach him on the radio. He's always here, and it's just a bonus to be able to pick up your live squid here, because they go out and normally you have to run out the island late at night, drop the lights, and hopefully it floats. And we're going to use the squid both, starting off fishing for the Sculpin, and then later in the episode when we take off to go to Catalina, we'll be using the squid trying to find yellowtails, calicos. You never know what you get, but having the live squid gives us a big advantage. Oh, we just got to the spot. We're about 9 miles off the beach from Long Beach, and right on the edge of the 150. You can see the oil rigs down the coast a little bit, and the Sierra is right here in front of us. And I just got my bait to bottom, and I'm already bit. These fish, you don't want to wind them too fast. You just want to bring it in nice and easy. They come up, they'll spin. You don't want to spin them off your line. So you just take your time, wind them up. We're all here all by ourselves. It's nice. Early in the morning, no other boats around. And this is just one of those kind of things that you can do on your own private boat. It's really easy to do. Fun fishing, quality fish. Here's a nice Sculpin right here.
Kind of amazing, Dan. You're actually metering. You bringing it up on the depth sounder there. We can see the fish coming right up off the bottom.
This is a legal size Sculpin. And like Eric said, you have to be careful handling these. This is a chrome B52 bucktail jig, half-ounce model. And for some reason, these Sculpin really like the lead head. Eric does all the installs for us on all our boats. He has a great little business in Huntington Beach, and we'll run his number at the end of the show. And Eric, what is it we're going to be installing today?
Well, Ray Marine's definitely sent you the top of the line on merchandise here. What they've got is they've sent you an E120 display, which is an integrated display where you can actually add any piece of electronics that you want to it, from a standalone GPS system to a DSM 300 sounder module, to a VHF radio interface if you have any problems where you fall overboard, you need to send your signal with a GPS
Man
coordinates.
overboard.
Exactly. It's just tremendous unit. Very, very easy to use. You can set up your displays in several different ways. You can actually have standalone displays for chart plotting capabilities, standalone fish finding displays, and also you can interface camera systems onto it, which is just trick. It's amazing. It is really amazing.
And this is the same unit that you installed on our big boat, the 31
Exactly.
Chris.
Exactly.
Cool.
So we're set to go. We'll mock out our locations and then we'll start mounting the electronics.
All right, let me get out of your way and get started.
Thanks, Dan, appreciate it. Okay, Dan, what we've basically got is we've had to look at the center console here a little bit because we have a couple things to consider. We have some railings that would be in the way for our VHF antenna, so we went ahead and mocked it all up, and we found that our ratchet mount sits right here on the starboard side of the center console really well. It allowed us to trim it out so it's nice and plumb and it looks really good. So we're going to go ahead and mount the VHF antenna and go from there. Okay guys, what we've done is we've predetermined where we're going to put our display and also our GPS antenna. So what I've went ahead and done is just got a black Sharpie pen and marked out our whole locations, and we're going to start drilling for the bracket and for the GPS antenna. That's basically it. We're ready for the bracket and the GPS sensor to be put down. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to mount the bracket for the E120 display, and we're also going to mount our Raystar 125 here on the console. We just got done drilling our hole, so we're actually going to get the cabling and stuff out, run it underneath the center console, and then interface it into the display. Last thing we'll do is we'll bed this and it'll be all set to go. So now we're going to go ahead and mount our brackets. I just simply set the fasteners in place. We pre-drilled the gel coat just to make sure we don't spider fracture the glass, and we're just going to basically tack them in place here. What I also did was made it a point to bed the fasteners with marine silicone, again to prevent any water from getting inside the center console area. The silicone should set up pretty quick in this nice warm weather today, and we'll just wire in the Raystar 125 and we're set to go.
Well, Eric, thanks again for helping us out.
Thanks a million, Dan. Appreciate it.
Eric's done all our boats in the past. It's just another great job here. And if people want to reach you, they want to have electronics mounted on their boat, how do they find you?
Sure. For any of your marine needs, you can reach us at fishermansconnection@att.net, or our phone number is area code 714-299-1438. You can also view our webpage at fishermansconnection.com.
We'll be running that information too at the end of the show. Well, thanks again.
Thanks a million, Dan.
Let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action here on Sport Fishing. Okay, what we're going to do right now is we're going to fish some numbers, a spot that I fished a few days ago, and you can see right on the meter where the spot is.
We're heading right at it.
Yeah, and what's nice about this fish finder, it's a GPS, it's a fish finder, and you can also use it as a radar. We don't have the radar part of it attached. So we're going to get right up on this spot.
Already right there. That's pretty instant.
That didn't take long.
A little more weight to this one, a little bit. Doesn't feel like a dab.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. That's good.
Oh yeah, he's legal.
That's nice.
It's just amazing to me that the lead head makes that big of a difference.
It really does.
P52 bucktail on there. And I think having that little skirt from the bucktail helps too, in case your bait comes off.
They still eat it there.
Yeah, they feel it.
Nice.
Yeah,
good look at the gut on that thing.
Keep him. Right,
Definitely.
here comes mine. Let's see if mine's bigger.
Right.
How about the same size? It's another Sculpin. Eric's using a strip of squid. I put on a whole squid.
I think mine's got a bigger belly though.
Yeah. That's good. Nice little double.
Oh, tasty right there. Good deal.
Just want to show you how easy and safe it is to bring your boat out here and catch quality fish like this. Don't be afraid to use your skiff. Come on out, do fishing like this. We're going to make a couple more drops here, catch a few more of these Sculpin, and then after that we're going to head off offshore. But nice quality fish on the bucktail. Strip of squid. So this is where we're fishing, is right on this hard bottom. This other fish is suspended rockfish, little junkfish. What we're trying to get is to the Sculpin, and they'll be really deep right in the rocks. They really don't show that good. They may be these little tiny dots on the bottom, because they hang out right on the bottom.
Yeah. I think Dan teased me into a second fish here.
Real careful with these guys. You don't want to get stuck.
Boy, this braid's amazing. Good stuff. You feel everything on it.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
See what you got.
Looks like a rockfish here.
Yeah, red snapper. All right.
Another really good eating fish here.
Yeah, you don't want that one.
No, no. Good taco meat right here.
That's a perfect steamer size.
That's what we're looking for.
So let's just take a little break from the action, visit the tackle box, and we'll give you a really good look at the tackle that we're using for this type of fishing. This week, the tackle box is brought to you by Cabela's, America's foremost outfitters. This week in the tackle box, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing today. Now we're fishing aboard the Skeeter skiff. We started off fishing for the Sculpin, and the rig we use for that's a little bit different than you've ever seen me use before. It's kind of a modified dropper loop. And to put, instead of just using hooks, what I'm using are little B52 bucktail jigs. Now this isn't a technique I invented, but one of the deckhands showed me this last season, and it really worked out good. So all I'm going to do is tie 2 bucktails, because remember in California you can only use 2 hooks on a line. I'm just going to try dropper loop rigs. So we got one on there, got another one, and normally this monofilament would just be running off your reel through the rod, and I would space them apart like that, a little over a foot. And you can try different colors. I really like the glow in the dark, and chrome is always a good color, but I've done good on the green. And then just cinch it down. Just wet it first, cinch it all the way down. And then on the other end, all you're gonna do is tie on a sinker. Just a real basic knot. Remember, these Sculpin are gonna be right on the bottom, so if you're using your own boat and you're trying to meter them, lots of times you're not gonna actually see the fish on the meter. All you're gonna do is see the hard bottom on your meter. And this is the rig. You got your sinker right on the bottom, hugging the bottom, the 2 bucktails, and then what we do is add on a strip of the magic strips or a piece of cut squid on there. It works good. You just want to have a little piece of meat on there, so if it comes off, the fish will still feel the bucktail and bite it on, but you want to have that piece of meat on there so when the fish come up and bite it, they taste it and they hold on. This is what the bucktails look like in your local store. Make sure you pick some up. And then later in the episode, we're going to run over to the island, fish for calicos using artificials. And the artificials we use are thin profile baits. These baits work really good, nice thin profile, fish close to the kelp, calicos can't resist them. Well, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing. Well, welcome back, and we're still out here on the same spot. And I'm just showing you, a lot of people have skiffs and they're afraid to come offshore a little bit. And you have the right safety equipment, it's very safe to do. We have life jackets on board. We have good quality radio, fish finders. We have both navigation and fish finding equipment on board. And what's nice about the Ray Marine unit, you can do everything with that one unit. In the old days, we had to have separate fish finders and separate radar units and all that. But with this one particular unit that we have here, you can do it all in one. And I just got bit again. Come on. We got bigger ones than this already. And like I said, I'd go for the lead heads. I'd really think about staying with the chrome or the red and white or the all white. Eric has a red and white one on. He's got another fish.
It's amazing how well that works with a lead head, on a dropper loop there.
Yeah, I saw that one of the sport boats. I was watching Deckhand. Oh, there's a nice one. That's a good one.
There we go.
See, that was just a strip of squid. That is a big fish.
That'll be a good taco right there.
And this is the poisonous part about it, all the spines. So you can see all these little spines up here. They look like needles when you pull the skin back. And that is what's gonna stick you. That's where all the venom is. So on the sport boats, what they like to do is they give them a haircut, they call it. They cut all that stuff off because we have so many of these fish that we're catching today. We'll leave them all intact, and then when we fillet the fish, we'll just be careful handling them. You can see the rod I'm using. This is the Ugly Stick custom rod, the Dan Hernandez model. And the reel is a Penn International 975. And I got, on this one, I have 20-pound test Cajun red line.
It's really nice with these reels too is, you know, for the kids it's a level wind so you don't have to worry about them piling them up.
And that one, that's got 40-pound ugly braid.
This is amazing. You can feel everything.
Yeah, I caught another little one. So what we're going to do right now is this will limit both of us out for the day, our 5 fish each on the Sculpin. We've released probably at least that many.
Oh,
too,
definitely.
Plus a bunch of shorter ones. So we got plenty of fish for ourselves. What we're going to do right now is we're going to pick up everything, all the lines, and get the boat ready. We're going to run offshore. We're going to go over to Catalina Island, and normally, you know, we could go in. We'd be done by 8 o'clock in the morning. We'd already be done with limits of fish, but we want to show you some more action. How to use your skip a little bit more. Go offshore. Don't be afraid to use it. So when we return, Eric and I will be over at Catalina Island. All right.
This week, the galley is brought to you by Dan Hernandez Baja Style Fish Batter and Dipping Sauces.
This week in the galley, I want to talk to you a little bit about cooking up Sculpin. Sculpin's one of those fish you don't find in the store. You have to go out and catch them. And they're delicious fish. And a lot of people stay away from cooking them because they're poisonous fish, so they're afraid of them. And this is what they look like, the skin's on them. This one's already been filleted, but it's just nice white meat, and it tastes really good. So what we're going to start off first is cook up a little bit of vegetables. We got some peas, some asparagus, so put a little bit of oil in a hot pan. Now I've cheated a little bit. I've already microwaved these so they're cooked a lot, so we don't spend a lot of time here cooking them. Peas in there. We're just going to pan fry these for a little bit. You can stir fry them, it works out fine. If you want, you can add a little bit of pepper, salt to it to taste. I usually kind of stay away from that. Okay, the asparagus and the peas are pretty well done here. So I'm just going to add some bell pepper on here. I like the taste of bell pepper, and plus I like the color. So it adds a nice color to it, nice contrast. Okay, now what we want to do, we have this pretty well done. We'll transfer this over to a plate, and we'll put our fish in here. Now, I'm going to start off with a little bit of olive oil. Pan's already hot from cooking the vegetables. And we're just going to drop our Sculpin in here. And we're not going to cook it very long. The small pieces like this will cook really fast. Again, I'm just going to touch it up with a little bit more lime and lemon. That's done. That looks so good. So all we're going to do now, take our fish, drop it right on top of the vegetables. And you have a really nice, healthy meal. And it's a great tasting fish. You're really going to like this. It'll taste wonderful. Now, if you want to kick it up a notch, you can go ahead and add one of my dipping sauces. I really like the wasabi for fish like this. You can just put it on the edge and dip it in there. Nice, easy dish. What I like this about, you get the crunchiness of the vegetables, the texture, like the bell peppers, and that white fish just tastes so good. As you can see, we didn't add a lot to it. Very healthy plate to have. Just top it off with some of the dipping sauce. It tastes really great. Well, let's get back on the water and show you more exciting action right here on Sport Fishing. Well, welcome back, and we're over at the island now. We're on the far east end of the island. Took us about 40 minutes to get over here. Doing like 30 knots, 35 knots, so it's nice in the skiff. And we're using the meter right now, trying to find some fish. And the conditions are really good. We're thinking about coming over to fish calicos in the kelp, but the water looks good, the water temperature's good, conditions look nice, so I think we're going to try to see if we might find a white sea bass or yellow in here.
This week's tip of the week is brought to you by Magic Metal Jigs and Bucktail Jigs.
For this week's tip of the week, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we did today fishing for the Sculpin. And the hot tip was to use the bucktail. This is a B52 half-ounce model. Eric was using the white and red. I was using the chrome. Blue and white also works good too. But using the bucktail with the dropper loop and with the either whole squid or strip of squid, that's this week's tip, and get quality fish like this. How'd you like that Sculpin fishing today?
That was pretty amazing fishing. Never would have thought of using those bucktails. Definitely works.
Yeah, the bucktail is a great technique, and I didn't invent it. One of the deckhands told me about it. You got one of my bucktails, tied it on a dropper loop, and it's just awesome. He says that it works every day like that.
That's amazing.
Remember, it's half-ounce bucktail, B52 bucktail, works great. Well, the end of today's episode, you saw Eric and I fishing here at Catalina Island. What we did was we left the Sculpin area, we fired up the Skeeter boat, we ran out here. It takes about 40 minutes. And it's still early, it's not even 12 o'clock yet. And we did awesome fishing. The Sculpin took us about an hour, maybe an hour and a half to get limits of Sculpin. And now we're gonna pick away at the calico bass. So when we return next week, Eric and I will still be here on the Skeeter boat at Catalina Island, pitching those jigs, trying to get more calicos, maybe some exotics. Well, thanks for joining me
Thanks
today.
a million, Dan. Appreciate it. Good fun.
See you right here next week with more exciting action on Sport Fishing.